Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This astrology report is for the week of October 1st, and also we'll be covering, since we have leapt into a new month here, the entire month of October, energetic astrological flow also. So big week here in the cosmic community and in our solar system, because we are indeed finishing up our eclipse portal cycle here. So we had 2 weeks ago the opening eclipse, and now on October 2nd, we are going to be having the closing eclipse here. Also, a conjunction with the sun in that new moon with the moon and Mercury. Also going to be a little special guest, Black Moon Lilith. I'll also be chatting about the grand water trine that's building this week, and then move into the October astrology. So big energies at play right now. I love being here in our little safe space we've created here to explore what is going on and what this could possibly mean. And so if you have your astrological birth chart, it's a good thing to have that so that you know how to apply these things to your personal life. I give a general reading here for the influence with the planets, how they're sort of speaking, what conversations they're having with each other. And then you take in your own astrological birth chart to look and see which house and which parts of your life this may be applying to. So on October 1st, the sun is coming in to that conjunction, September 30th also. So we enter the month of October with the sun in a conjunction with Mercury. That's the exact conjunction there. And when the sun, our personal identity, comes into a conjunction, that's when the two planets come right over the top of each other. Mercury is our mind and our communication. So we get some communication, some illumination that is going to be applied toward our identity, the way that we are seeing things in the world. The sun is our own personal ego. This is how we are, what our focus is, what our general focus is here. And the sun goes through all 12 signs every year, but right now the sun's in Libra. And so our focus is on Libran themes, which is relationships and the law and fairness and balance and harmony is what Libra represents here. So we have our general focus here in Libra, and then Mercury comes in and gives us some communication. Mercury is the messenger of the gods, and so we always get a big message when Mercury comes in. So it's going to be toward these Libra themes. We get a big douse, a big light that comes in. The sun illuminates and brightens and causes brilliant things to happen when these other planets come through. So we have this strong, brilliant communication regarding relationships, regarding how we can bring more balance and fairness into our relationships, what we need to do to balance the scales of justice here a little bit. Libra rules all of the contracted relationships in our lives. So business relationships, these are marriage relationships, and also your relationship with those themes also. So if you have any kind of things going on in your life regarding the law or regarding contracts, we're talking about our relationship to those things also. So Libra, being an air air sign always brings in change. The air signs are known to be breaths of fresh air. It's like opening up the windows and letting the fresh air in, and we get new ideas. We get new thoughts. We get new communications with these air signs in general. And Libra is the cardinal air sign, which means that Libra likes to start new things. We like to begin new cycles. We like to have these fresh moments with Libra energy. So this is leading us into the big meal, the full meal deal ticket here for the week in the astrology, and that's on October 2nd on the Pacific West Coast. I use all Pacific West Coast times because that's where I am, so you'll have to do a little math if you are indeed wanting to know the exact times that these are going to be happening in your area if you're not here. So the new moon in Libra, also the annular solar eclipse at 11:49 a.m. on October 2nd. We get led into this here. The moon makes the move into Libra on October 1st, and by the 2nd comes into the conjunction with the sun, which creates this new moon. The moon is hid entirely by the brilliance of the sun, and the moon gets a rest here. This is where we get the new moon and we get a brand new lunar cycle when it's completely hidden by the sun here. And the reason that we get eclipses is because there's a couple mathematical points. Well, there's a few mathematical points in the sky here that we use in astrology, but the nodal axis here is what creates the eclipse. And the nodal axis is at 6 degrees of Libra, is the south node currently, and 6 degrees of Aries. They're always right across from each other in the zodiac chart. So we play within the themes of these axis, within the themes of this axis here, Libra, Aries, when we are working with eclipse energy. And this is a highly transformative time. We go through the eclipse portal when we move between the new and the full moon. And here we get the final closeout of what this eclipse cycle is really transforming us into. And the nodal points are also known as the nodes of fate. They are cosmic course correctors. So anytime that we have eclipses, anytime the nodes of fate are in play, we are basically forced by the universe into our path, into our destined place, into fated things. And this can be hard to adjust to. There can be a measure of adjusting and allowing things and having faith and having that surrender that you need to have in order to let these things happen, right? To let your highest and most benevolent good be dealt with here. And that's what we're talking about during this eclipse cycle. And so Libra itself, right? We are talking about relationships and the law and balance and new moons. We're activating new beginnings. And we've got here the South Node in play. And the South Node is all about leaving things behind and walking away from things. So you kind of add these things together, and we've got new beginnings, new cycles in regards to relationships, the law, balance in our life. And also it's like a closeout and a walking away and starting a new thing with the South Node at play here. So how is this fitting into your life? Well, get your astrological birth chart and look at 10 degrees of Libra. And that is where this new moon eclipse is taking place and where you can find the new beginning plannings in your life, this area that we're discussing for you to focus on here. This is exciting. New moons are always a great time to just go inside. And later on in the week, we actually have a building energy here with a grand water trine. And water signs are full of emotion. We are full of the flow of our feelings here. And also water signs are really great at helping us make changes and to be flexible and flow with things. So as we are moving through this eclipse energy, the south node is tough stuff. And so we could be having endings of things, endings of relationships, endings of contracts at the moment. And so having this great grand water trine come through, building between Mars in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces and Venus in Scorpio. This is very supportive. This is very good. This is causing us to be a little more flexible because we're feeling the flow of this really nice water trine. And I mentioned Black Moon Lilith being involved. I don't want to ignore her because she's easily ignored. Also at 10 degrees of Libra here. And Black Moon Lilith is an energy that I'm still exploring and becoming familiar with. But this is also sort of a darker energy. These are taboo things that we generally don't want to discuss or don't want to have out in public or don't even, want to bring out of the closet. That's what Black Moon Lilith represents in our life. So South Node and Black Moon Lilith together here seem very dark. It seems like there could be an air of endings, release, realizing things that are toxic and being rid of them. Things kind of like, the skeletons in the closet, maybe kind of coming out with Black Moon Lilith here. And the sun is going to illuminate all of this here too. So, this water trine, a good thing to lean into, even connecting with water energy this week is going to help us to move through and out of this eclipse, wash ourselves clean as we come out of the wormhole of the eclipse portal. Taking baths, just scrubbing your feet, scrubbing your skin and just cleansing, maybe doing one last dip in the river before the cold weather comes in, going to the water's edge and just bringing that energy in will be helpful this week. And something to lean into a little bit as we move into the following week, because as we go into the second week of October, we've got a few planetary shifts and changes that are going to shift and change our energy. And one of those is on October 9th. Jupiter, the king of the gods, the most wise of the planets, is going to be stationing retrograde. So we're already feeling this. Jupiter slowing down to station retrograde in Gemini at around 21 degrees. And then 2 days later, on October 11th, we have Pluto going to be stationing direct. And so both of these planets really still at this moment, and they are shifting in opposite directions. Pluto is in a really interesting place right now. We are learning lessons from Pluto and transforming things right now that we will never do again because Pluto moves so slowly. We're not going to have Pluto in the sign of Capricorn again in our entire lifetimes. And so Jupiter coming through, the king of the gods, with like some really strong wisdom in that second week of October, a really good time to listen to any messages that are coming through from the deep. Pluto is going to be bringing those up. Jupiter is going to be blessing them and making them, a really good, wise moment. And then October 13th, the currently fast-moving planet of Mercury is going to be zipping through Libra out and away from this new moon and into Scorpio by October 13th. And Scorpio's our deep thinker. Scorpio is our deep speaker. This is the place that we go for a deep, deep dive into emotions. The water sign of Scorpio is sometimes it's one of these deep, dark places that can be a little scary, a little tough to go to because represented by the planet of Pluto. But when we do that, it's highly transformative. There comes this like really deep understanding of the depths of whatever situation that you're in when we go there and we have these conversations. Venus is already there. Our heart is already in Scorpio, prepping the road there. She's already put on her black leather and is having these serious conversations and going deep into her emotions. And then the mind joins there on the 13th. And the following week, we have a full moon in Aries on October 17th. That is when Venus, the same day, moves into Sagittarius out of Scorpio. So Venus in Sagittarius becomes more adventurous, becomes more influenced by the planet of Jupiter, which we're feeling very strongly right now also. Having a lot of that wisdom just being poured over her in Sagittarius, speaking her truth. And then we have the sun moving into Scorpio finally on October 22nd. And this is where we move into the death and rebirth cycle. And there comes this discernment that's necessary that we learn when we move into Scorpio. We need to use that to decide, what stays and what goes is kind of the big Scorpio theme. And then we cruise out of the month of October, but it's not really over until the new moon on November 1st, the day after Samhain, Halloween, October 31st. So a lot going on in the month of October, and there's a lot going on in general right now, just energies in the world. We must remember that the United States is going through our Pluto return right now. And so if we know anything about birth charts, we know that these are cycles. And when the United States was birthed on July 4th, 1776, that became the birth chart for the United States. And we are now having our Pluto return, the first time that Pluto has made it back around to this highly transformative moment for the United States, which we know affects the entire world. And so there's this highly transformative thing going on right now in the country that we live in. And we have just come through a really transformative eclipse cycle also, which we're going to be feeling and absorbing and using the lessons from and applying the lessons to our life for the next 6 months, moving out of these. We use this eclipse energy straight up into the next eclipse 6 months later. So there is a lot of good things to lean into here. We've got the knowledge that Pluto is leaving Capricorn for the last time, and we're going to be finally moving into some new themes and moving forward there. We have other outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, at final degrees of their signs also. So if there's kind of like this feeling in the world or in your life or inside that there is something coming that's shifting, there's something ahead. I hate to be one of those people that's like, wait, the shift is coming, but there's going to be a lot of big energy shifts over the next couple of years in terms of the astrology. We're going to be facing new filters, new ideas, new things to focus on. The energy is going to be totally fun to go over here in the cosmic community. I love being here every week for it. It really, truly does bring me a lot of joy to be here. So thank you so much for joining me. And I wanted to make a little quick drop that not next week, but the week after, I'm going to be in the cosmic community here for a full hour. And that one is going to be October 15th. And it's going to be a 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. show because we are starting our fall fund drive. That is actually starting the Saturday before. But I have one fall fund drive show and I would love to have everybody's support. All of you that listen to the show, like maybe you don't ever even catch the show live and you don't have the opportunity to hear it live. You can still participate even when you re-listen to the show. You can donate then. You don't have to listen to the show live. But yeah, I want to see my cosmic community come out in 2 weeks on October 15th, 4 p.m., half hour early to 5 p.m. I still don't know who my co-host is going to be that day. So I'll surprise you next week with my plans for that. And I hope you have a really good week and I will talk to you very soon. Take care. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.